This outside shit in winter sucks. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the garage. So back on the 3500. So we're working on the 3500 again today. We have the transmission in, and that's about it. So it is in. All the transmission bolting to the adapter plate is in, the adapter plate's in, the torque converter's in, the flex plate's in, all that stuff's in. The torque converter is not bolted to the flex plate as of yet, and we have it just sitting on the cross member in the rear here. So what we still have to do is we have a multitude of wires we have to hook up. We have to bolt the torque converter to the flex plate. We have our cooler lines to hook up and figure out how we're going to reroute the one that is all cut up from the previous people who worked on this thing. We got our drive shafts to put in. We just have a multitude of different things to do, but it's all little stuff. Really the hardest part about this will be sorting out that wiring, trying to get it routed nicely and kind of like in a factory form or way, whatever. So we're also going to drop the pan on the transmission. This transmission was in the race truck when we got it with 150,000 miles on it. Though when I bought the truck, they had mentioned something about it being rebuilt. And of course, I didn't really pay attention to it because I knew we were going to be immediately swapping a 48 RE into it. So that transmission has less than 150,000 miles on it, but I don't know by how much. So we're going to be, you know, where was I going with that? I completely just lost my train of thought. Oh, there we go. So when I pulled it, I did drain it, but it still has the filters on it that were on it. So we're going to put new filters on it. We're going to reseal the gasket, which it just takes like an RTV like we put on our rear main seal and our cam O-ring. So we got that to do. Still cold out. I'm going to get all suited up in my Carhartts, and after this project's done, they definitely are going to need a thorough washing because crawling around on the ground here is just filthy. But I must say, this piece of plywood has been very handy, and with the additional transmission fluid on it, I can slide right in there. All joking aside, guys, let's get to work. Let's get done this little saga and get this thing on the road and yeah, check it out, see what else is wrong with it. I'm sure there's okay. Got the torque converter bolted to the flex plate. It was a royal pain. First off, I had to remove this support bracket here for the adapter plate, just so I could get swing on my ratchet. And I tightened up the first bolt like I always do, you know, went around just doing it how we do it on the race truck. Went to the next bolt, couldn't get it, so loosened up the first one, went to the second, put that in, tighten that up, went back, tighten the first one up. Needless to say, I had to put them all in loosely and then tighten all 6 of them. So the first one, you draw the converter up, and then I loosened it so it was just barely hand tight so I could move the converter, because if you leave it backed out too much,
when you tighten up, you know, put them all in and tighten up the last one, and it draws that converter up a little bit more, it's liable to hit the flex plate. So I had to just be careful and kind of cross my fingers a little bit, but we ended up okay. Another thing, these bolts are a pain to tighten up. They're thinner head-wise than the ones on the 48, and it really makes a difference. It's a lot harder to get the ratchet on there and keep it on there. You almost have to use 2 hands until you get it just right, and just a pain.
So here's a 68 converter bolt, and here's a 48 converter bolt. So as you can see, the bolt head size is just a hair smaller. I mean, that's not even 1/8 of an inch, but man, it really made a difference. And the size of the socket, the size of the head being bigger probably doesn't help. But yeah, that little bit of thickness really does make a difference.
Also, after I got that in, I tried putting this exhaust bracket back on, this one here. But needless to say, it gets bolted to the transmission, and I was able to get it off without cutting the support, but it's not going back on. But the exhaust is good and sturdy, so I think we're all right. Inspection covers back on. We got one of our trans cooler lines connected. We'll have to work on the second one, but we're gonna, you know, drop the pan and all first, and then we'll mess with that. Got all of our wiring. There's one connector there for the 68. All of our extra wiring, we'll call it, for the sensors that were back here. Then our shift lever, all our wiring harness here, which is our 68 wire, a couple sensors, our breather hose for the transfer case, our transfer case indication wires. Everything's ran how it should be. Most of the plastic clips are still intact on that, so that went fairly smooth. So really we have our 2 drive shafts. We have to drop our pan and our 4-wheel drive shift lever, and yeah, we'll be good to go. So we'll probably put this 4-wheel drive shift lever in the front drive shaft, drop the pan so we can let it drain a bit, and then we'll work on the rear drive shaft because that does need some attention. So like I said, this rear drive shaft here, it needs some attention. Hopefully we'll be able to get that cleaned up. I don't know. I will soak it in some penetrating oil, see how we'll make out. There is this other cross member, but that can be put in later when we put the skid plate back on, after we make sure everything's good. This really just holds the skid plate. So yeah, we'll get to putting that front drive shaft and the levers and all in. I'll soak this down, and yeah, we're almost done. So as you guys can tell, it's snowing again. Just wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So in the little bit of time I was working on that front drive shaft and the oh, I'm gonna lose that wrench. Front drive shaft and the 4-wheel drive select lever. You see we started getting some snow. It's coming down pretty good. Yeah, so I'm gonna call it for tonight. I really wanted to get that rear drive shaft in, get the filters on, and have this thing ready for fluid and get it down on the ground, but sadly it is not the case. I'm not doing this again. I've been out here long enough, and it just started snowing. I'm already cold, and I chose to wear Nikes again for some reason, where I've been wearing my duck boots all week. But yeah,
that's going to be it for tonight, guys. So we still have the rear drive shaft to put in. I do have to clean it up, but I did hit it with some penetrating oil. So I think we might be able to get that cleaned up, but I still don't know. I'll have to work on that. As long as we can get the area where it is in the seal of the transfer case, will be good. But yeah, get drive shaft in, drop that pan, change our filters, reseal the pan, finish that last cooler line. Then we're ready for fluid. We're ready for a test drive. So yeah, I don't know when that'll be. I don't know how much snow we're supposed to get. I know there was some winter storm they're talking about, but anyway, we're done for tonight on a case of snow. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Get out in your garage, get the wrenching on your truck. And for your sake, I hope it's a garage, because this outside shit in winter sucks.